There comes a point where explaining yourself starts to feel like begging, not for attention, but for understanding. And the more you explain, the less they seem to get you. That's when it hits you. Maybe the problem is not you. At first, it feels normal. You explain your actions. You explain your tone. You explain your decisions. You say things like, "Let me explain. That's not what I meant. You misunderstood me." Because in your mind, if they understand you, everything will be fine. So you try harder. You add more detail. You repeat yourself. You break it down again. But somehow, it still doesn't land. They will question you, still doubt you, still twist your words, and slowly, you don't even realize it. But you started explaining yourself just to be accepted. You see it everywhere. At work, you explain your decisions to people who already decided they don't respect you. In relationships, you explain your intentions to someone who only listens when it benefits them. Even with friends, you find yourself over-clarifying simple things that shouldn't need explaining. And every time, it drains you a little more. Because deep down, you're not just explaining anymore. You're trying to be approved. Here's the truth. People who want to understand you don't need long explanations. And people who don't will never understand you, no matter how clearly you speak. Because it was never about your words. It was about their mindset. As Marcus Aurelius said, everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. People don't see you as you are. They see you through their own filters. Their past, their ego, their assumptions. So the more you try to explain, the more you lose yourself trying to fit into their version of you. Then one day, you just get tired. Not angry, not emotional, just tired. Tired of repeating yourself. Tired of being misunderstood. Tired of trying to prove something that should already be clear. And in that moment, you realize something simple. You don't need to explain everything. And for the first time, you stop. If you've ever reached this point, then you already understand this is not just motivation. This is awareness. Subscribe if you want to move with clarity and understand people on a deeper level. When you stop explaining, something powerful happens. You create space. Space for people to think, to assume, to reveal themselves. And in that silence, you take your power back. Because now, you're not chasing understanding. You're observing behavior. As Laozi said, those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know. Silence is not weakness. Silence is control. You start to see something clearly. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not your thoughts, not your reasoning, not your time. Because explaining yourself is giving energy. And energy is limited. As Carl Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Sometimes, people don't want clarity, they want control. The more you explain, the more control you give them. Have you noticed? The people who speak less are often respected more. They don't rush to explain. They don't defend every little thing. They say what matters and leave the rest. And because of that, people listen. Because when you don't over-explain, your words carry weight. Your presence feels stronger. Your silence becomes noticeable. You reach a point where you're okay with being misunderstood. Not because you don't care, but because you understand something deeper. Not everyone is meant to understand you, and that's okay. As Friedrich Nietzsche said, it is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. You stop forcing connections. You stop forcing clarity. You just exist. You don't need to explain your growth. You don't need to explain your silence. You don't need to explain your decisions, because the right people won't need explanations, and the wrong ones won't accept them anyway. The day you stop explaining yourself is the day you take your power back. You stop performing. You stop proving. You stop seeking validation, and you start moving differently. Quietly, confidently, and intentionally. The Silent Strategist. Observe, understand, dominate.